This is Dick Zondag, the garden doctor, coming to you from my backyard. Talk a little bit about renovating a strawberry patch. The strawberries that are behind me on the mound in my backyard were planted about 3 years ago, and the first 2 years I had really great production from them. As you can see, they've kind of overgrown the paths that I had for them, and so it's time to renovate the patch. And so what I'm going to be doing over the next 3 or 4 days is I'm going to be taking my trusty lawnmower, which is set at its highest setting so that you don't hit the crowns of the strawberries, but I want to take off the leaves of the strawberries. And if you have a grass catcher, it's probably better to have a grass catcher that will catch the leaves, because a lot of the leaves are now starting to show scorch. And I also have a few invaders in the strawberry patch that I want to get rid of. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking my mower at its highest setting, and I'm going to be mowing my mound. I'm going to take all the leaves that are here, and then I'm going to reestablish paths. And what I will do is, if I can determine where the original mother plants went in, that's where the path will be. Because as you get into the age of a strawberry, the younger it is, the more productive it is. And so what we want to do is take out the mother plants. Now, if you've got a patch in your garden on flat ground, what you want to do is, if you're renovating the patch, is mow the leaves off, because the leaves will come back, and they haven't started running very much yet, so that will also happen. But what we're going to do is you want to mow where the mother plants, the plants that you planted, are, again, because they're the least productive of the strawberries, and get the new runner plants to grow back in. And so tonight or tomorrow I'll be mowing them off, and we'll bring the video back and show you what the patch looks like when the leaves are off. And then we're going to take a rototiller and reestablish the paths so it's a little easier picking over the next couple of years. Okay, step one of our renovation is done. Took my lawnmower, set it at the highest setting that it can be, because you don't want it to cut into the crowns, but you want to get rid of the leaves that are diseased and well, of course I had some weeds in here. Get rid of the weed seed. And our next step will be to get a rototiller and determine where the mother plants were planted originally. Because the older a strawberry plant gets, the less productive it is. And so what you want to do when you're renovating a strawberry patch is to take out the oldest plants. And so what we'll do is determine where the oldest plants are, where the mother plants are, and we'll rototill through those to get paths again through the mound. So once that's done, then we'll water them good, because they want to get them started again, because it takes a little while to get the leaves regrown and to get the runners started. And when I water, I'm going to use a siphon jet, which is a piece of equipment that siphons water out of a pail. We'll have some fertilizer in that water, and that way you're giving the plants a head start with some fertility, so that they get off to a good start. And over the weekend I finished the renovation of my strawberry patch. What I did is I took the rototiller and carved the paths. I first marked out where I wanted to do the paths so I would take out the maximum number of old plants, and then I took the rototiller and rototilled through that. And then what I did was I went through and raked whatever I could out of those paths, because there's a lot of straw and stuff that I left from last winter to kind of create a barrier for moisture and to keep the weeds down a little bit. So I raked that out, then I rototilled the path again because I wanted to make sure that I got all of the strawberry plants and whatever was there out. Then I got some mulch from our mulch pile and mulched all of the paths with pine bark mulch, and that was to prevent the erosion that would come on a mound. And got some fertilizer. This happened to be Espoma garden food, 1010. Now this is normally not the fertilizer that I would use in a strawberry patch because it has a little bit too much nitrogen. But what I want to do is encourage the plants to grow, and so nitrogen is what does that. So after I mulched the paths with pine bark, I took some garden fertilizer. This happens to be Espoma garden food. A little hotter than I would usually use on strawberries in the springtime because it would encourage more foliage. But at this time, after renovating the plant, cutting the leaves off, I want to encourage growth. So what I did was I took the 1010 and I just sprinkled it in the patch as I went through, and that will give the plants the nutrients that they need to start growing vigorously and start running, so that they fill the whole area in again, keeping the runners from invading the paths that I set. So that's how I renovate my strawberry patch. The next time that I do this in a year or two, what I'll do is the year before I do my renovating, I will allow the strawberries to kind of run into the path, and then I will take the old strawberries out that are there now and let the strawberries that ran into the path run back and fill the place up. So remember, number one, you want to take out as many of the oldest plants, the mother plants, as possible. Number two, you rototill the area where they were. Number three, you cut the leaves off that were on top, and if you have a grass catcher, it's really better if you take the old leaves out and put them in your compost pile. Number four, rototill the paths. Take the material that you rototilled up and rake it off. Put it in your compost pile because that'll make good compost for next year. Then you mulch the paths so that you don't get soil erosion, especially if you're working on a mound like I'm working. And number four, you put the fertilizer on the old plants that you left so that they start growing. So this is a little bit on renovating a strawberry patch. Hopefully we'll have a great picture of strawberries next spring to show you. This is Dick Zondag, the Garden Doctor.